Hey guys, Big Wheel Dog 82 here in the soil, and I got 5 tips for what to do with all them fall leaves. They're everywhere, right? Well, some of them you might know, some of them you might not. But I guarantee you, at least one of them is going to surprise you. So check this out. So to get started, first off, rake all those leaves if you've got them in your yard. But for those of us who are thinking ahead or aren't really in the position to really go out and rake some leaves because just got issues, go around the neighborhood or go to nearby neighborhoods, grab all those bags that people are ready to get rid of. Then all you got to do is chop them. You can do it in certain ways. You can either mow them, or you can use a weed eater, or you could just have some neighborhood kids do it for you. Or better yet, if you've got your own kids, have them do it. So once you've got that step done, then we can move on. Okay, use number 1. Do you have a worm bin? I've got one. It's not that big, but it's still a worm bin. Well, if you do, this tip is for you. So here's all the chopped leaves, and usually I'll either keep them in this tote or a bag. And the thing about worms is they need something as bedding and both food, and they happen to love leaves. So that's what we're gonna do. What I normally will do is I will take some of the leaves, put them in to a bucket, and then spray them down because these leaves are pretty dry. All right, so here's my worm bin, just a simple 2-tier system, and let's take a look. They were last fed maybe about almost a week ago. Anyways, you can see those little guys all on the surface here. Well, it still looks like they got a good amount of leaves still left, but let's go ahead and give them some more anyway. So we take the the chopped leaves that have been moistened, and we'll just sprinkle those down. There's one. We don't need a whole lot here, just enough for them to have a nice amount of bedding. All right, and then here on the bottom, which is my improvised breeder bin, we're gonna go ahead and add some more because it looks like these guys have already gone through all the leaves that were down here before. All right, and done. All right, guys, tip number 2, mulch. All right, guys, this is my main raised bed, and as you can see, the entire surface has been covered with my chopped leaves, and it's ready to go for the winter. And then in spring, I'll take all these leaves off. I will put down my plants. I will take some of the mulch, put it back down, and the rest of it ends up in there, my compost pile. All right, tip number 3, insulation. Do you guys have stuff like garlic that's in pots and they stay outside? Or maybe even your strawberries, and you don't want the soil to completely freeze over, you just want them to stay nice and cool? Well, guess what? This one's for you. All right, here is the spot where some of my garlic's gonna be for the winter. And as you can see, I took this old beat up kiddie pool, and this is where I'm gonna be insulating my garlic over the winter. And I will be doing the same thing here too, where I'm taking all those leaves and piling them up in there with some hardware cloth and doing the same exact thing, insulation. Just to explain the pots that are in the kiddie pool a little bit more, first off, that green bean plant is coming out, and one or two of the other ones that were on the side of the house are going to be going in it, but it's not finished being filled yet. I'm trying to save my leaves for anything else that I might need them for, like covering some of my self-watering tubs with and things like that. But once I know I have plenty of those, or if I have to go get more, that rest of that kiddie pool will be completely filled, and maybe even covering over the top, even though they already have straw on them. I'll add some more of that leaf on top and then use hardware cloth to keep everything sort of kind of contained over the winter, you know, because there's going to be wind and hail and all that. So I'm trying to keep as many of those leaves in that kiddie pool throughout the winter. Tip number 4, leaf mold. If you've never heard of leaf mold before, or if you've never made leaf mold before, it's one of the easiest uses of leaves that you could possibly find. So let's take a look at some of it that I brought in, and I have it in a bucket in here in the garage with me, and then we'll go back outside to take a better look because you've already seen it, but we'll get an up close view of it. So here's some of that leaf mold that I brought in. I used it for my bioassay video, which you guys can find. If you haven't looked at it already, please do. But anyways, so at the bottom of the leaves, you'll find this, which is partially broken down. I believe this is probably about 1.5 years old. And that's all it is. It's just chopped up leaves that have been left outside, and Mother Nature does all the hard work. And you can tell that it's been outside because we've got worms in here, which is what you want. You want those worms and other biota in there turning it for you. So let's go outside and take a look. All right, and here we have where my leaf mold pile is, and I surround my compost bin with it because of all the worms and everything that are contained in there. I have not added to it yet, as you can tell. Last year, it was right about here as far as the amount of leaves, and they've settled down. But up underneath here, see if I can't get in there, you can sort of kind of tell that's where the leaf fold is the oldest. And that right there, let's get some of that out, is nice and dark and rich. And that's gonna be put on top of the bed that I'm on top of right now, which is my side bed. The cover will be ripped off, everything will be pulled out. My cabbage refuses to die, but I'll get a topping of this leaf mold on top of here, some compost, and then some of my chopped leaves will be put on top for mulch and then recovered for the winter. Tip number 5, hold on to them. Just because you collect all those leaves and you put the work into chopping them up doesn't necessarily mean you need to put them all out this fall. Hold on to those, because if you compost, guess what you're going to be looking for in the summer? Browns. And that there's no other better brown than leaves. So let me show you how I hold on to mine, and maybe you should hold on to yours too. So here we are, back where we started. My little tote that's full of chopped leaves, and these were chopped and sifted, because again, I said I was going to run those partially through my worm bin, but I'm also doing a little experiment here too. So anyways, I've got this tote full of chopped leaves, and then I've got this big contractor bag here full of chopped leaves. And last year, believe it or not, I had 3 of these things full. And all I've got now is this half a bag, and then these are from this year so far. And those 2.5 bags, guess where they went? You're right, summer composting. So guys, that's 5 tips for leaves. That should be enough, right? Guess what? I got a bonus for you. I found this one out by accident. So last summer, well, last fall, I should say, I did the whole mowing my leaves, and I wanted to mow them a second time because they just weren't chopped up enough. And after I poured them back out and mowed them a second time, I realized something. There's a bunch of bits of leaves that just don't get picked up the second time because they're just too small. So this year, what I did was I mowed the leaves right where I plan on putting grass seed down. Because I don't know about you, but if you've got animals like I do, 2 dogs, they can wreak havoc on a lawn. So what I did was I put some grass seed down right after I got done bagging those leaves. I took a rake, I raked it over, and guess what? I bet you come summer, I'm gonna have brand new grass. And I'm not gonna have to worry about straw or birds or anything. And the best part, it's already fertilized with the leaves. Like I said, if you've got spots that you need to cover up, give that a try. And let me know how it works for you. It works for me. So there you have it, guys. 5 tips that you can do with your leaves, plus a bonus. And who knew that leaves had so many uses? I bet you guys did. And I barely probably scratched the surface. So if you guys have any other tips that I didn't cover here that you think is useful, please go ahead and let me and everybody else who sees this video know. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thanks to all of you who have subscribed and shared my videos. It's immensely helpful. And I didn't post anything for this past Veterans Day. And as a veteran, I thank each and every one of you, past or present military. It doesn't matter what branch. The fact that you served is more than enough for me and more than enough for our country. So with that, I'll see you guys later. It's Big Wheel Dog 82 in the soil. See you guys.